You are now listening to the Cheatcoders podcast with Natz and Raf.
Yo, it's Natz here. Wow, major lag. Raf in the building. And this is another episode of the Cheatcoders. It's a bit laggy, Raf, but we'll get through this one. I feel like I'm in the studio right now. I'm sitting on a stool. I've got the mic set up. It's like we're about to bust a cipher or something. I don't know. It's pretty funny.
I've noticed that you always change the angle of the camera.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed that you've always changed the angle on the camera just to switch it up a bit. So give it a different edge every time we put out a video. But
exactly.
Yeah, I've been all right. Long weekend has happened, and now it's waiting for another weekend. So how you been?
Did it go quick for you? The long weekend?
It was pretty average.
It was a 4-day one, right? For you guys as well? Like
Friday 4 days as well, and then it wasn't slow and it wasn't fast. It was the right pace because we pretty much did a lot of cleaning, a lot of errands, and just right. And then I got to work on some more Cheatcoders stuff, so
Beautiful.
All the best.
Well, you know how for me it was no difference. I was actually just waiting for, not even Monday, I was waiting for Tuesday because then I could feel like grind mode kind of thing. So I was waiting for the work days to start because obviously I've been on the job hunt. I've been, trying to get out there, trying to get my things in place and stuff. And obviously if everyone's on holiday, there's no point. So I wanted to wait for recruiters and jobs I've applied for on Tuesday to follow up and see where everything's up to. I think that's a sign that I need to get into some sort of working routine now, being that it's been 2 months here already. So we'll see how we go.
Yeah.
I start work.
So how's
I start
the
work
job
next
hunting
week.
going?
Good. I'm just taking.
Oh, you
up
got
really
something
random.
now.
Yeah. Just a random odd job. It's a 4-week job next week. I'm not going to go into details. Nothing flash. But to give you an idea of the kind of jobs I've been applying for, this is how random I've been lately. I haven't got any of the other ones. I took this one because it's the first one that came, and it's only 4 weeks, so it's not a full commitment. It's just some office in the city. I've applied for a bartending role. I was supposed to go for a trial today, and I can't. I'm gonna cancel it. There's no point. I'm taking the job for next week, so I'm not gonna bother going to the trial. But I thought it was pretty hilarious because before I left Sydney, I kept telling everyone like, what do you think if I was a bartender? And everyone just doubted me immediately. They all just laughed. They were like, dude, you're just going to end up drinking everything and probably get fired on your first day. And to prove everyone wrong, I was just like, nah, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to try. So I was this close. I could have been working in a bar, but, I'll take the office job. Pays more and, I just sit down and I just get into it straight away. Another random job I applied for, the Wimbledon coming up. I think it's like a setup for the courts or I don't know if it's a ball boy. I don't know. But can you even imagine that? Like, I can't catch for shit. Like, that would have been hilarious too.
I reckon that'll be good. That'll be good entertainment. Sideline entertainment by the ball boy. Yeah, you won't be able to catch anything or run anything.
And I'll be like fiddling, like trying to get the ball, but always dropping it and just making a scene and shit. So that would have been a funny experience. But that's later on. I could still probably do that if it comes around. We'll see.
Well, I'm glad you actually found a job. This is your first job in another country.
Yeah,
getting your visa at work. So finally getting, getting out there.
Applying,
You might make some friends, some work friends.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it begins.
Get a nightlife. And then
back to my old ways.
That's the end of the Cheatcoders.
That's the end of what day is it today? Today's Thursday. Yeah,
it's the end of our run.
Morning. Yeah, this would not happen.
Yeah,
this couldn't happen. Basically, it'll be a weekend thing. Oh man, this could be the end of the Cheatcoders right here. This could be our last episode, man.
All it takes is for you to get a job, and then that's the end of the Cheatcoders.
Nah, not at all. Nah, we're keeping it real. We're gonna keep this going. Our aim, 100 episodes. Isn't that right, Raf? No, 300. You even said 300 or something. You're like 300.
Yeah, 300.
Just to say we did it.
I've noticed that you're growing your hair and you're getting it slicked back.
Yeah. Getting there, getting to the point. Like gotta adapt to my environment.
Yeah,
it's a bit.
Right
it's
now
a bit
it looks
colder
like a
here.
shower cap, but
I want a bit of warmth on my scalp from the winter cold in London.
Yeah,
So
warp on
see
your
how we go.
scalp. Next minute, it's just gonna grow it to your shoulders and stuff. So
Nah, I'm against the whole
this
man
is
bun thing.
interesting, Nats.
If there's one thing for me,
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
against the whole
I'm
man
against the
bun.
whole man bun thing. Next minute, you're gonna get a man bun and grow a beard.
I actually put a poll up.
out there, as in England.
Sorry, what was that?
Was there any? Is there any hipster-looking people with the man buns and the beards in England?
Tough question. Like, of course there would be. Maybe I just haven't come across them. It all depends on areas. Because there's areas here that remind me of kind of Newtownish. And yeah, I'd say I've seen a few people like that as well. Then you got the lad kids. There's like lad kids as well that active weared up. And, you know, it's like you see the same kind of people everywhere you go. Every city you go. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Same
no,
shit.
it just seems like it is like the same amount of different type of people here and there, and it's pretty much the same thing everywhere.
Yeah, I do got to say, like,
Have
the
you come
UK,
across any different type of people that you don't find in Australia?
It's a hard call. Well, everyone's pretty much different, just like a different version, like a British accent version. I got to say that I like the fashion
but
here,
there's got to be like a particular group.
particular group. Well, you know, like the man's not hot type, like black dudes, like, yeah, you don't know, eh? Like that kind of thing. You don't see that, like, in Australia.
I'm pretty sure there's a version of that here in Australia.
It is a bit different, just with the Aussie accents. But no, I can't say there's anything special, different. You know, just the accent's different. I was trying to get at, but like I do the fashion sense here is a lot better. Like everyone's it's like a semi casual look everywhere you go. So you know, in Australia, you either get like everyone's really dressed up or dressed down, kind of thing. There's always a midpoint here. Like I can go out with sneakers and jeans, but then have a coat on. It's kind of cool. It's like I can't explain it.
Okay,
it's
so
like
it's more
New
acceptable
York
there.
style.
So Nat's fashion is a bit more acceptable to.
Yeah,
in,
and even in the
UK
workforce,
than it is in Australia.
people are a bit more dressed. Yeah. I think because like the fact that there's a lot of walking involved here, so it's quite normal for suits to be in joggers when they're out and about, and even like the workforce, they're a bit more laid back, I think, with in terms of corporate wear. So you could just wear a shirt and trousers and it's fine. Where as long as you're not seeing clients or anything like that. And even the job I'm going to, it's an office job, but I said, so do I need to get a suit? And they're like, nah, it's pretty casual. Just, you know, first day, just wear some trousers and a button up. And I'm like, and then from there you can sort of get an idea what other people wear. And I'm like, cool. Because I left all my suits back home and I was about to buy a new set and that would have set me back a bit of money. But yeah. Pretty much. It's really hot in here. I don't know why. I think it's my room. It's really hot. It's a sunny day today. I'm gonna
Nah, it's really hot here. It's still like it's supposed to be winter, but it's still pretty hot in Australia.
You serious? That's ridiculous. It's just my room that's hot.
Like
the funny thing is it's
stinking
reverse. It's supposed to be starting to get hot here and it's still freaking cold when you go out. So today's one of those rare days where it's actually really sunny and staying sunny outside. I haven't seen the sun in a while. And I'm going to be going back to the city today, you know, just roam around and shit.
Do some exploration.
Exploration.
That's sweet.
Find areas that are
thing,
close
man.
by. I might find where my work is going to be and suss out areas nearby in case, you know, get an idea where I want to live when I move out, kind of thing. See how we go. Yeah.
Sweet. Is there any plans of moving out, or are you just trying to find
pretty much.
just holding it out for a bit?
No, the plans are in motion. I realize that's what I want to do, especially with the whole music thing. I want to like just be in the zone, in that realm of inspiration and struggle.
Struggle.
Hey, that's a good segue to a topic. Can I sorry, this just popped in my head and that worked out perfectly because I was like, shit, what the hell are we going to talk about today? Something that's been in the back of my mind lately. I'm not going to go on about how, like, I think we've talked about this the past 3 episodes since we've been doing the whole Apple Podcast transition. about how I'm trying to always find inspiration and the days drag on and then this comes up. I'm going to flip it a little bit. And I was talking to my mate, Alan. Shout outs to Alan Capuno. You've met him a few times at Carter. Do you remember Alan?
Yep.
I was talking to him just randomly.
Yeah.
You know, he's one of the dudes that I talk to, like another dude I have a few ventures with. Like, it's great. Once again, shout outs to the team. Shout outs to, you know, Round Circle, Cheatcoders, everyone, the boys, the community. Everyone's popping. Everyone's doing things. And it's really exciting. And it's really getting me excited to do stuff as well. We got onto a random topic about, like, everything in life you sort of treat like, it's just like, everything in life is like an assignment. Everything in life is like exams. We don't realize it, but when you're in school, like, you know, a project's coming up, you got to do it. And then as you get older, it's just more and more shit, except we put it on ourselves. And with me, like, I'm a really last minute dude. That's just my trait. Some people are different. When there's a task given, they do it, kind of thing, right? There's two types of people that do it immediately, or the ones that leave it to the deadline. You go to adulthood, sometimes there's no deadlines. You have to set your own deadlines. And if you don't, that's how things drag on. And that's why I think I've never been able to complete a full mixtape before in music. Like, the first one was an accident. There was no pressure. I just kept putting it and then just said, there it is. But ever since then, every time I've sort of started or dwindled on a sort of a project, it's come close to completion but never gets there. This sort of just hit me the other day when I was talking to my mate. It's like, dude, now that I have this job, I realize that all this time that I've had is not going to be present for at least a month. And I'm just in this, like, crisis mode. Like, oh, shit, I gotta like, get this shit done kind of thing. And then it's amazing how your mind works. It just pushes you to do a million things in one day that you had all this time to do that you could have done before. But that surge of importance or urgency takes over when you know that there's, like, a deadline. And I think it goes around that topic. Like, we always have to be doing something. Sometimes it might not even be related to what you're doing, just to keep you rolling. Like, just keep on doing things. Do you get what I'm trying to get at?
Yep. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I get what you're saying.
Example. Let's swap. Like, you're doing all this cheat code. Can I just give a shout out? Raf here does everything for the Cheatcoders. I just get my ass online, do a Skype call, and I send him the files. He actually does everything. He edits the shit. He puts it together and makes it all look professional. So I do minimal stuff for this freaking network. So technically, yeah, just props to my man's here. We never shout each other out. So, you know, thanks, I might as well, like, let the people know that you're the one that's really you're the driving factor of this. If you, I don't know, like once again, thanks, different traits, different personality traits. But because you got the job, right? You got your 9 to 5, which is great. One thing, which is amazing, you do something that relates to your skill. You're always filming. But you've told me a lot of times, like, oh, at the end, it's just another job as well. Like, you know, you kind of just have to do it. You wake up, you have to do it, and you do it. If you minus that from the equation,
yeah,
I don't know about you, but with the amount of extra heaps of time, because you wouldn't have that sense of urgency, do you reckon that would affect how we do things? Like, because you're like, oh yeah, like, or do you reckon you do more? Because I think you're a person that could do more, but I could be wrong. Like, could we do a bit of a swap here? What do you think? Like, is the fact that you have a 9 to 5, is that your motivation? That's like, F it, I'm just gunning it now with Cheatcoders. Because you're, like, way more driven with this podcast stuff. You know, you're the one that's on my definitely. Ass about stuff.
Maybe, yeah, maybe if this was my 9 to 5 job, I wouldn't be as motivated. Maybe the fact that I only have a limited time set just to work on this Cheatcoders thing is actually motivating me to.
It's getting you to do it,
doing it, and actually drive. Maybe if I had all the time in the world, I wouldn't be able to be as driven as I am now. Maybe the fact that there's only 24 hours in a day, and I got my 9 to 5, which takes pretty much half the day. Sleep, that adds to it, and then I have this minimum 4 hours to actually do some Cheatcoders stuff. That's when the magic happens, because I think the knowing that I have that limited time is actually that catalyst to blow things up and be like, oh, this is it, this is what I gotta do, this is what I gotta do. So it's kind of like I don't know, how can I say, like, a water bottle. Sorry, I just got a water bottle here. So if there's so much, if it's empty, then it's, okay, this is going nowhere.
Here we go. Here's another analogy.
But you know what I mean.
This analogy just crashed. This analogy just...
Yeah. I was just like...
I was waiting. Wait.
Like, nah.
Where's he going? Where's he going with it?
It's getting too late at night. But I'm saying, like, knowing that there's a limited time actually drives you even more. If there's too much time, then you'd probably be like, I'll push it to this time. I could do other things and I won't be as driven.
Of course, yeah. Even with the whole, like, I'm just looking at comparison once again, like how we work, obviously, because this is a 2-man show, and going on about like how you, when you hit me up, this is behind the scenes for everyone that listens to these. Raf's always the one that's messaging me like, dude, have you sent your vocals? Dude, have you sent the video? And I'm like, yeah. Ooh, my bad. Like, something will happen. My excuses are legit. Just letting you know, live on air, Raf. My excuses are legit, but sometimes, things fall through, and I can't send him the files. But like, I would expect that your push is because, like, you're the one with the limited time, so you're on my ass trying to, like, I need that vocal because I've got a set time to do this because then I got work on Monday or something, you know what I mean? Whereas I'm a bit more like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll get that cafe tomorrow and then I'll get it. But if you have that urgency, it really just gets you to, like, get out of your, like, fuck, I just got to do something now. Just get it. And especially, like, that episode where you, me, and Don, like, my video never got sent. When it got towards the end, because I didn't have internet, something was going on with the internet, and Raf was like, dude, I'm gonna drop it tomorrow, so yeah, if you can send it through. And I was like, shit, and it got me to, like, effort. I just went to a cafe and tried. I failed because the cafe has a limit of how much you can transfer upload. It was a 6 gig file, mind you. Yeah. I couldn't just, like, 1 gig in one cafe, go to the next one and do the next cafe. It just didn't work, and I was like, that
would have been an interesting interesting vlog to do.
Trying to get data each cafe. But like I said, like, when you put that deadline, when you put that urgency, it just gets you to, like, nah. You become like MacGyver of shit. You're just like, I gotta do something now. And that was me. It failed, but, like, it got me there because you were like, you lay the law down, And for you, like, you have to because, like, you got that limited time and space. It sort of just makes you think as well. Like, I don't know, especially with artists. I want to dwindle in this topic a little bit more. Like, would you say sometimes artists exaggerate their struggles a little bit sometimes? Like, poetry is a form of, I guess, exaggerated emotion. Is it something like that? There's a quote that says what poetry actually means with music as well.
Yeah, that's pretty much art. Art is like exaggerated emotion. Like paintings would have the abstract paintings would be exaggerated emotions, and also just movies, film. They probably be like biopics, and then they exaggerate it to the max just to show how the severity of the emotion. But at the time, it wouldn't be as bad. It's like, that's the way with music as well. Like the lyrics, the way agree. They'll say like, "Oh, I'm sad." You can say that you're just sad. But then if you write, I'm extremely sad, like I'm walking in the rain with thunderstorm, it just sounds a bit more, emotional.
Dramatized. It's
dramatized. It grabs your attention.
And it's art.
Yeah,
it has to be. You're not gonna
drama.
You're not gonna make art sound boring, right? Because then who would want to, like, listen to art? And I think, like, why this, like, artistry and entertainment so important, it doesn't make the artist. Look, some artists, yes, maybe they've gone through traumatic experiences, but at the end of the day, they're still people. But it doesn't take away that just because an artist expresses something, it doesn't mean they're a special case and have gone through worse things. It's sort of something that can empathize with a normal listener kind of thing. That's how artistry, people can relate or get influenced by artistry. And obviously people that don't do art, that just like to listen to it, Let me give you give me like an example. Like two people exactly the same, right? But one's artistic and one's just normal. Artist is sad. Sad. Dramatize the shit out of it. And I wouldn't say it's being fake. It's still poetry. You're just trying to, like, let that emotion out. This is what you're thinking, and you're letting it out. The other person, a normal person, maybe just normal everyday 9-to-5 guy working, doing his thing. sad as well. Same level of sadness. But he's not going to be like, letting it out, right? They do it in a different way. Maybe they're a bit more private. Maybe they're just like, it's just in their head. But the thing is, like, they'll be listening to the artist, and it's like, yeah, he's saying what I'm thinking. And it's calming, and it feels good to know. Like, it's like, I respect that he's letting these emotions out for me, because I'm not the expressive type in that sense, kind of thing. And what I'm trying to get at is, like, with artists, sometimes you need to, like, go through struggles to make that art for the people, kind of thing. Like, it helps.
Yeah.
You know what I'm getting at? Sorry, I'm like, this topic is completely, like, just spontaneous right now. This kind of just happened. So mind us, but we're trying to get our points across. But you sort of get what I'm getting at here. Like, for example, for me, like, I wouldn't say anything extremely traumatic has happened in my life to make me feel like I'm special and look at me, pity me when I make a sad song. And vice versa, if I think when I talk about my wins, they might not be the biggest wins, but for me, they're big wins. And if I'm going to talk about it in a song or in a podcast, it might be dramatized a bit to the T, but we're just saying what people think that might not want to express it. And that's the beauty of being
with art, it's just it's a point where it's all about connection with your audience. When you express, because, like, everyone, there's a billion people on earth, and each person may express a similar emotion or one emotion differently than the next, and the artist's job is to convey a message where everyone can feel that same emotion the way they feel it. There's two ways, I think, I don't know, from the top of my head, there's only two ways in art. It's the execution, which is what the artist conveys, how they're going to convey that emotion, and it's the interpretation. The interpretation is how the audience interpret that execution. The way whatever the artist presents, say in music, the lyrics, the beat, the whole package, the whole outfit in that art, the whole package, and then how the audience perceive it and their perception of it and how they receive that emotion. So you can set one emotion as an artist, saying that we're gonna be depressed, so I'm gonna put out a depressed. My aim is to make a song about depression, and see how other people connect with that. So, and then people will perceive it differently, but they'll all feel that same emotion that you're conveying, that the same.
They'll take that message for how it relates to them in that sense. Definitely. It's like, all right, the way he feels about his struggles for getting a job is the way I feel about trying to manage my emotions, or try to, everyone's going through something. Everyone's going through their own shit. That's why it's funny. And you're going through your own shit. That's why it's funny when people go like, it's like they were talking to me at that song. You have to imagine everyone has to a T, or to some element of that message of whatever that art may be. It's talking to everyone in that sense. But it's crazy how it makes you think, like, wow, it's like that artist was just talking to me directly. And that's what makes a great influencer or a great artist, because you're going to capture that emotion, just blast it out there and be like, it's going to affect someone, somehow, some way. And that's my aim with what I'm doing, kind of thing. Even with this, there's only a handful of emotions that you can actually make as a human. There's only a handful of emotions that you can give. And the best thing about being an artist is trying to convey that emotion to the outside world and connect it the way they want to connect it. As in, like, as you said, like, you're just sending out messages, and then people convey it the way they convey it. But the way a good artist will send out that message is the way that makes the audience relate in their own life. Like the richest person in the world could feel your struggle, or someone who's completely opposite of you can feel your struggle, because they are relatable to, like, how they are in their own lives. And I think that's what's great about, I'm not going to big up this podcast, but our podcast is so relatable to the fact that people actually come up to me and say, the best thing about your podcast is that I could relate to what you're saying. You're so down to earth, and the conversations it's honest and it's raw. And the fact that you actually open up to everyone in the audience is making it so relatable, and that's what they enjoy. So
yeah, big ups to everyone who says all that stuff, because like we always try to aim to relate, and that's where as podcasters and music artists and videographers, that's our job, is to send out our messages and be able to make you connect the way that you feel, like whatever you're going through, you can connect it with the way what we're going through. So yeah, I appreciate anyone who connects with our podcast, our music and videos and
I think
stuff.
that deserves a clap, Raf. I think that deserves a clap.
Oh, I totally forgot about the soundboard.
You're like in the middle of your water sip.
Just there you go. Manual.
You guys get a free like a manual clap. That's how much. That's how preach, Raf. Preach, preach, my man. That's it.
But yeah, I understand. Like going back to your point where that limited time.
You need that.
Is what you,
because you can't,
is what makes you drive even
another
more.
thing, Raf, look, like from like just relating back to me, I don't like talking about myself too much in that sense, but yeah, I guess we have to because it's our podcast. But like it's hard to force out any sort of emotion if you're kind of just not dealing with any sort of struggle, or well, you can't really put out emotion if you don't have the emotions to deal with in that sense, kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like the funny thing is, like, now that I've got this job, it's like it's not a bad thing. It's what I've wanted, but now there's this sort of like stress. It's a good stress, you know. It's a good level of anxiety. You need anxiety at the end, you know. Everyone is like, there's this stigma that, oh man, if you have anxiety, it's bad. Yeah, too much of anything is bad. Too much of being lonely, that's obviously depression. Too much of, I don't know, anything. Too much of anything is essentially bad. There has to be a balance, but you always have to have a good level of bit of anxiety that makes you want to do things already, kind of thing. If you're just calm and carefree, you're borderline crazy, you know. That means you don't care if you walk down a highway and get hit by a car. That's crazy. You need some sort of like a panic button that's like, all right, gotta be wary, you know. I gotta do this now, like let's get the job done. And with this job coming in, I'm like, all right, things are going to change a bit. I got to switch up my routine, and, you know, the things that I've got on my list, it's getting a bit urgent. That boat's going to sail if I don't get onto it. So let's go. And it's funny, like, the more I do my music, the direction keeps changing with the emotions I have. And the biggest thing that destroys my projects, which I've realized in the past, is because sometimes if I sit on something too long, I'll get to a stage in my life where I no longer feel like how I did before, because I've just dwindled too far from it. Like, I'm no longer struggling at work. Like, I had a whole mixtape about like the 9 to 5 grind and how shit it was, right? I don't know if you remember. You remember when I was doing that This Round's on Me? Like, everything was like bar related. Everything was like that kind of vibe, because that's how I was feeling. This is a mixtape, mind you. If anyone still ever really follows my music, listens to this, I have like mixtapes that are like 3/4 finished and never released, because I just went too far and suddenly I'm on this different stage in my life. That emotion's not going to be the same anymore. It's a shame. It would have been a good thing to put out, but you know, it's in the lost files. I got my own lost files, you know. Cheatcoders in there.
Guess you have to go back to the bars just to get that emotion.
I got to get back into the standard 9 to 5 Friday night drinks type atmosphere. I got to get back into that to write that again, and it's too far. The references are like from years ago, but it's just an interesting, I guess, outlook or observation in that sense. And now that urgency is here, it's like, really, am I going to feel like how I feel still if I start working? So there's that urgency. I got to do it, because things might suddenly change. What if I get really, really happy? I'm not saying I'm depressed. I wouldn't say I'm jumping for joy, but what if I get to a point that I'm just so happy? And you see that with artists' projects as they come up. Eminem has never been the same because he's no longer broke, you know? He's not going to be Slim Shady LP Eminem or Marshall Mathers LP Eminem. And that's with look at any artist. Their catalog's never going to be the same, because no one ever stays feeling how they do forever. And there's that urgency, man. I got to like get this shit done, get this shit on the road. And that's all I want to say. I don't know. Just random thoughts.
Yeah. I really like the concept that you're bringing up of the juxtaposition of emotions, as well as things that you need to do in life. Like, to succeed, you need to struggle. to be happy, you need to experience being sad.
You know what that is? It's the light and the darkness. You can't see the light both. If there's no dark. You know, like if you just have light all the time, it just becomes normal, and you're just like, all right, you're just complacent, you're carefree, you're not stressed. You're like, oh, okay, get a bit of that darkness in you. You start appreciating that light a lot more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like either way, if you have only light and only dark, you won't be able to see. Like if you have a flashlight like directly onto your pupil of your eye,
wow, it's
completely white. You won't be able to see anything. But when it's dark, you still want to. You need both things to balance out the shades and the shadows and the highlights of life. You know what I mean?
This guy drops the
bigger picture.
Awesome descriptions. This guy's the king of analogies. Damn son.
Because like, you know, limited time makes you more driven, and you can even extend it out to life. We have limited time on this earth, so we have to make the most of it. So knowing that, I think it comes to like, I think this is going to be a deep topic. Like the closer you are to death, the more you want to live.
That's the final countdown, isn't it? That's something you can't.
That's the whole bucket list type of thing. Yeah.
You know? That's something that can't be. What's the word? There's a word for this. We can't change it. Like it's inevitable.
You know, it's inevitable.
It's gonna be the end of it. It's one day you're gonna get to a point. You're just gonna look back. It's like, how did I live my life? Basically. Yeah, it is gonna be a deep topic, Raf. My bad. It's like, but literally, look, making it light.
We could go back to the smaller scale. You know? Smaller scale is like, I got limited time because I have work and I just want to be driven in this project. You know.
You're just gonna look back and like, how did I live it to how on my terms that I wanted to, kind of thing. And like it goes back to, but just make it a bit light though, because I was speaking to, you know, with this podcast. It's funny that you bring up about how when you see people now and people talk to you about it. I don't know about you, like we haven't even had a meeting. Me and Raf don't have meetings, by the way. We set these up, we call each other, we joke around a bit. I have a chat with his wife Shivi, and she drops some random goss on me, and then we start the podcast. That's as much planning as this is. You're actually seeing our conversations live on air. This is the most we talk, to be honest. I don't even talk to you on WhatsApp or anything. And I talk to the other boys.
I think the most productive conversations that we have in terms of besides the podcast is our WhatsApp. But that's our meeting.
The meeting.
Like we have a WhatsApp meeting. I'll be like, oh, okay, we're gonna start this show today, and I'm just gonna let you know. I feel like you're my partner in this anyway, so I always let you know what's going on.
Yeah. And then, half the time I don't respond for like 3 days. I don't respond for like 3 days. I'm like, all right, cool. But that's the beauty of it, because we get to do the show together. So at least when we do talk, it's good. Like there's a build up, and people get to see it's all genuine, authentic. Anyway, look, what I'm trying to get at, I don't want to get too sidetracked with that whole thing. But ever since this podcast, because I'm letting out so much of myself and these kind of topics that I don't generally just talk to anyone about, it's opened the floodgates to a few people. I'm not going to like name people just to name them, kind of thing, just in case if they don't want their business in public. But it's been able to help me form some pretty deep connections with people I never thought I'd be kind of even close with. Has that happened to you lately? Could be even your family, sisters, I don't know.
Yeah, actually, you know what I mean? When it comes to the podcast, people when they listen to the podcast, it's like, oh, I didn't know that about you.
And it'll segue into like
they
a deeper
feel a
convo.
Bit more of a connection. Yeah,
there'll be a deeper convo. It doesn't have to be like a deep convo where you're like, you know, really like sharing intimate details of life. It's just like, it's deep enough that like I didn't think I'd ever talk to this about you, and it opens them up as well. Like I'm like finding stuff about people that they're willing to open up a bit more about certain things, because like, hey, that thing you brought up, they'll like take a little piece of the podcast and it'll open, and it feels really good. Like an example, I was talking to a mate, and he's just like, man, I'm just sick of I'm just so tired, man, all my money is gone, all this yada yada. I'm just like, I wish I was doing what you're doing, kind of thing. And I'm like, at the end, like, you know, you refer back to that episode. I think this stemmed from our last one, the Dirty 30s one, about how people just want what other people want, kind of thing. And it's just, for me, it's so motivational now when I do speak to people. It's like, dude, like, yeah, it's great, but at the same time, like, what am I trying to get at here? I was just trying to be like motivating in a sense that it's like, just because I'm here, it doesn't take you having to do something extraordinary, or it doesn't matter what scale to what you do it for. With life, if you're just in the rat race of just doing things, like if you feel like you're ever boxed in or in a place where you just, fuck, there's nothing going for me kind of thing, that really has to change. Because at the end, what you're going to look back and you're like, oh man, like all these years and I've just done the same routine. It could be as small as just a podcast even, or like a blog. Something that can take like, even if it's like an hour of your time a day, and you're putting something out, and it's something that you're passionate about, something that makes you want to do it, like how you do this, despite you've got a 9-to-5, a wife, you've got all this shit. This podcast is that thing that your go-to and makes you feel good. It kind of makes everything else feel a bit better, right? You're like, oh, well, I got all this, but I've got this as well. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
it's like how people have hobbies and how people have aspirations. And
you need something.
They have these side things because
you need
it kind of
yes.
kind of balances out. If you have too much things that are dragging you down,
you need that at least one thing to just
you need to balance that out.
You need something.
Yeah.
You need something that gives you a reason to wake up, makes you want to do something. And a lot of the objections, or a lot of the things that come back to me is like, oh, I don't got the time. You make the time. You'll make the time. Like, if it's something that you really want, if you can't just be living in this loop forever kind of thing. And what are they trying to get at? It's like some people just say like, oh, I don't know, what if I release it and no one likes it, or after the third episode it's just shit. It's like, just do it for you, man. Like at the end, just do it for you. Just do it out there. Like, the way I view things now, before it was all a numbers game with us, like we'll put something out, if it doesn't get the reciprocation that we like, it's like, it's just so disheartening. But now, like 31 episodes in,
yeah,
if you keep at it and it's something you genuinely enjoy, you can't, there's no losing at all, like, yeah, maybe if you invest money into it, but with the way the world is now, there's so many things you can do, so many hobbies that there's so many things you could do for free if you really wanted to. But if it's something you really like, you'd invest to it to an extent kind of thing. Like, we got some equipment, all that stuff as well. But shit, I'm out of water, man. It's so hot. And I'm sweaty. Sorry, I'm trying, like, you're getting what I'm trying to get at here, though. Everyone needs that driving force of something.
Yep.
It sort of relates back to what I'm saying now. Like, it's like a balance thing. Like, yeah, well, now I got all the time to do it. But now it's like, now I've got a deadline. Now I got to do it. But this is the happiest I've been, because at least now
it's a balancing act.
It's a balancing act. Like, we're like two almost polar extremes of that. You're someone that has like a set routine of doing something, and I'm someone that just has a free for all, but also has the same objective. Sorry. Yeah. And now I'm like, I need somewhat some routine to really get me back in the game, kind of thing. And yeah, that could be next week. We'll see how we go. Yeah,
it's like the biggest example is what's happening with you now. As in, like, the negative is that you've got all this time, but you feel like you're not getting enough stuff done. So and then the positive thing that you're doing is actually, all right, I'm gonna look for a job.
Yeah.
And then you found one, and now you got that inspiration building up again. So with your mate, what you're saying is like he's feeling all these emotions. That's the negative action.
That's the negative.
And then he has to try and get his positive action.
Thank you.
And then when he decides that I need to change all this stuff, that's the positive reaction to that negative. So there's always a reaction to what you're doing, whether it be positive or negative.
Can we like make like a little table chart? That's like something straight out of a chemistry book that we can just put and just be like, this is the key to life, people. This is what you need to do. Well, what is it? Negative reaction. Need to add some.
Yeah, negative reaction needs a positive reaction.
It's like the most basic example.
This is the science.
As simple as that
science of life.
As simple as that sounds, it's so true. And this is the kinds of conversations I've been having with so many people when they talk about, like, we don't have the keys to life. You and me don't have that. That's why we're the cheatcoders, man. We just see things how they are, and we just say it. Like, this is it. Like, this is what we're doing to cope. And it's working. So, you know, there's no step-by-step rule book that this is what you got to do. But
Yeah, and going back to your point with your mate saying that oh, what if people don't like it, or what if I don't get the traction?
yeah,
It just comes down to, and then you're telling him that it comes down to if you like doing
Yeah.
it, if you're happy doing it. As an artist, you know, you just throwing things out there.
Yeah.
Like as an artist, you can't always rely on how many people will listen to your track
Absolutely.
or hear your podcast. The only thing that you can rely on is connection. If you connect to one person and actually have a positive connection with that person, then your job's already done.
that's it.
Like
That's exactly
you've already done what you need to do. It's like it's and to be honest, like the internet is so big and huge and wide out there that you can actually throw in a song and you will connect to one
Exactly,
person.
man.
Or a podcast. You will always connect to one person.
That's it.
And you know, you already done your job. You just need to be able to get it out there. Cast
Just
your
do it.
line.
Cast your line. What do you got to lose?
You can't catch anything if you don't cast
That's
the
something
line.
I keep saying now. It's like, what do you really have to lose, kind of thing. Like, if things are always that bad that you're just like, oh, man, life's shit, like, kind of thing. Once again, straight
Like,
back
I'm
to
not
your...
judging people saying that life is shit, because it can get like
Of course.
that. Like,
Oh, yeah, of
I'm not
course.
gonna lie and say that it has not happened to me. Like, it happens. But
But at the same time, you know,
negative action needs a positive
and
reaction.
once again, like with these podcasts we're doing, this could very well be that segue to someone listen, like this content that we're dropping now. You know, we do dwindle this topic now and then. It'll come up. And this could be very well be that connection, because we're putting it out there. Someone randomly in the world might see this video and be like, shit, these two random Filipinos kind of have a point here. Maybe this is like what I need. And it goes back to it, right? Everyone's just like trying to figure out. No one's figured shit out in life, you know? You go to like the most famous people in the world. Yeah, to a degree, like if you've got accomplishments and stuff, some people have bigger bragging rights on what to do and what to not know how to do. But at the end, you know, like our biggest demise, we're all going to die one day, and no one really knows what's going to, you know, at the end, we're all headed that way,
And
like it or not.
And no
Like
one
it or
really
not.
ever thinks about that, as in
Back
like,
to the...
how are we gonna like, and no, I just had another thought. Like, I heard this podcast the other day, and they say there's two ways that you die twice in your life.
Yeah.
The first time you die is when you actually die.
Yeah.
And the second time you die is when the last time someone says your name. So it comes to like how you affect other people, like in terms of like a
How
big
you live.
superstar out there.
How you lived your life.
How you've lived your
the
life.
results. Like here
a big
comes the
superstar out
results
there,
of
like,
Nathan's
say,
life. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
then like say like Michael Jackson, like, you know, he died in person on the earth, but the next time he will die is when the last person will mention Michael Jackson ever.
It's amazing analogy.
So it comes down to how you
your
affect
impact on
and
the
how
world.
you affect the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, your impact on the world, or
really.
your impact on someone
And
else.
People can't like
Because
compare.
if you impact someone,
Everyone's gonna have somewhat of an impact.
if you impact,
Not everyone's gonna live in a cave
Yeah.
and no one's gonna know that you were in this earth, kind of thing. Doesn't matter how big or small your circle is. Everyone has somewhat of a circle. Everyone knows at least one person. Like, come on, you know what I mean? And you're absolutely right, dude. That's a
and
great
if you impact someone,
that's a great
yeah,
analogy to look at. It could be a
you
small
impact
scale of just
someone-
your family. How did that family relative live
Yeah.
their life? Do it like, wow, admirable what they did, kind of thing. It's crazy, you know? Or yeah, Michael Jordan,
yeah,
big impact. You know what I mean? I was sort of getting back
yeah, like
on that
it doesn't
whole,
even have to be in a scale of that huge big one.
yeah,
It could be like in the smaller scale. So like our friendship, if you die or I die, like the other person is gonna keep bringing up your name in
Of
random
course.
conversations.
Of course,
Like,
yeah.
I remember when this guy said this guy, and then I remember when Natz did this and did that, and then it just keeps going, and then like, and then you can realize like it's like passing a message. If someone sees how someone else has impacted you, it affects them, and then that message be passed on. It's like, I remember when these two guys had this friendship, and then it's inspired me. I remember when they did a podcast, and our name just keeps, you know, been being said, and then we just keep living on until the last person or the last time
We're
our name
mentioned
is
in
said.
that sense,
And
yeah.
that's the
And
next
it all
time
depends
we
on
die,
what kind of impact you left to the people that you know directly,
Yeah.
or even secondhandedly know you, kind of thing. It's amazing. It's a lot to think about. Really good. You know, that the whole thing, like back to the whole, like when people are feeling when you're just stuck in a hole, right? Sort of relates back again. There's that meme. Is it a meme or a picture? It's one of those quotes. You know, I always drop all these random quotes. It's because I'm feeling a lot of shit these days. I feel a lot. I've been feeling a lot lately. I got a lot of emotion these days. Mate. I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna say it because I feel this. You know, I'm a print screen this. I'm gonna post this. Write my little caption in the bottom. Be like, yeah, that's exactly right. That's how I feel. Anyway, I think the last one.
How I feel.
You know, like I've done a lot of growing up lately, Raf. I've done a lot of maturity in the past year. But that last meme I got on my Instagram, follow me, Natz Blazin, Instagram. Anyway, there's a
nice plug.
smooth, not subtle at all. Anyway, there's that picture, right? And it can relate to a lot of people, and it related to me quite a bit. But it went along the words of sometimes it might take 10 years to get to that 1 year that changes your life, right? And it's a great example. You see it everywhere, and it goes back to impact. Sometimes that you leave. For example, like someone could be working at a bank job for like 10 years. You can use my example. I worked in an industry for 10 years, like that I could very well much go back to, kind of thing, right? Gonna make it very dark and dramatic. If I died like 3 years ago and that's all I had to show for in life, kind of thing, I think I'd be pretty upset. You know what I mean? I'll be like, like people would be like, yeah, that guy, he lived, he did his thing. He always complained about work, eh? It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, he was just always depressed about work. He was just saying how much he hated it, kind of thing. Difference is I'm not dead. I'm here, very alive, very young. Doing what I like to do.
I hope so, man.
Is this getting too dark for you? You're like, oh, shit.
No. Keep going, man. This might take an interesting turn, you know? We'll see how we go.
The difference is...
Keep going.
This is what I'm trying to get at. Before, when we did music, because there was always that balance with music, I always used to be so almost regretful. Like, why did I waste so much time doing this job? Why did I waste so much time doing something I didn't like? When I knew my calling was music. It might not even be music. These days it's a free-for-all. It could be this podcast. It could be something completely different. But I put a lot of energy in an insurance job. And I'm taking a twist, right? This is almost contradictory to what we're saying now. But at the end, it's all going to come around to the whole impact that we leave, right? In sense of maturity, what I'm saying with how I've sort of grown to sort of accept things the way they are, when I think about the years that I've given to, like, you know, moving up in a career that I was never really passionate about, I actually have zero regrets on that. Get at me now. If I didn't have those 10 years of working in that industry, I wouldn't have shit to talk about like this now. Like, I couldn't say that I was in that struggle. Once again, it's the whole dramatizing the struggle, right? At the end, it's just a job. It's not traumatizing. But you know, a lot of people are thinking that, because a lot of people might be in that exact boat and thinking that. But the fact that I do music, I can write about it and say that, and people be like, you know, I do feel what this guy is saying, kind of thing. I really wanted to be a freaking pilot or something random, you know what I mean? What am I trying to get at?
Yeah.
Going back to that meme, it's so true that sometimes it might not happen immediately, and when you're in doubt, you might just be stuck. Everything's momentary. It could take 3 years, it could take 10 years, but it's all part of the journey, and you get to a certain point, things happen, and then eventually, when you look back at things, you can never regret what you've done. Yeah, you may have wasted those times, but at the end, everything happens for a reason. Everything that you do in life brings you to where you are. The only important thing is that you get to that destination when you're like, I'm here. I can't say to myself that if I had invested those 10 years with music as well, just music only, and didn't do insurance, I can't say that for sure I would have been famous by now. You know, a lot of the boys as well. This is not putting down any of the boys as well. Like, you know how we always used to talk, like, imagine if we, like, pumped it way more on YouTube. Like, imagine what we knew now, we did it back then. We'd be famous for sure, but we don't know that. We don't know that, Raf. What if it was the other way? We put all this energy even more, and we still didn't get famous. Maybe I needed this whole insurance journey to get me to this very point now, that I have something to talk about and actually authentically say it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it was shit, but I don't regret it. At the same time, I look at the positive. I've lived a career that I can go back into, that I'm good at. It's given me some sort of safety. It's sort of segued me to even getting to this country. If everyone can sort of just, this is what I encourage everyone right now. Just look at your life. Look at the last 10 years of your life. And if there's something that you don't like about it, try and look at it in a positive way. Like, yeah, this was a bad time, but fuck, it got me here. That struggle got me here. And am I happy now or am I not? Could this be the turning point? Could the Cheatcoders be my push to change my fucking life? Why the fuck are you laughing? I'm trying to be motivational.
All right, Gary V.
Hey, you got yeah, I have a point. You have to admit I have a fucking point.
Yeah, man, I'm feeling what you're saying, but it's just funny seeing. It's funny. It's like when you saw me doing my radio talk type of thing, you just started laughing, and I'm like, hey, man, I'm doing my pitch, you know, I'm trying to advertise this network. But listening to you now, like, I feel everything that you're saying. I'm like, oh, this is,
it's just like,
this
wow,
is amazing. This is gold. This is great content.
Is it? Okay.
But at the same time, like knowing you as Natz, I
just really started feeling myself,
Nathan
bro.
De La Cruz. I'm just like.
I just really started to feel myself
just
just
then.
then. I just started to feel it. I was just like, wow, I could be a motivational speaker right now. But I'm just saying, like, this is the kind of shit I've been thinking about lately. All these things I used to regret, all these things that I could have done this, or what am I doing now? It doesn't matter. It's just, you look back, you can look at the past for a bit, don't get consumed in it, don't look at it, and just keep thinking about it. It's done. But how has that helped you to get here? Everything, like, life is not going to be a picture perfect point. You ticked it, you did it, and it's getting you there. You got to go through some stupid shit. Then you have nothing to talk about. It goes back to our topic about you don't have that struggle, you don't have that darkness. You won't know what light is, kind of thing. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All it is, all life is a bunch of lights and shadows, man, put together so you can see the picture. I love that analogy. I just was like, oh man, I'm just feeling myself, man.
Let's go, yeah. Anyway, yeah. Nathan right. V.
Hey, man. Nathan V.
How long we've been recording?
Like, I totally, I don't know, but I totally felt what you were saying then. I was really like, oh, this is something. I already know what I'm going to take a snippet of for the Facebook guys.
Thanks, Raf. Cheers. I changed your life in one podcast. Don't worry, bro. This is why we don't talk. That's why me and Raf don't talk. We only talk on our podcast because it comes out better. This is real, but this is real, but I've been in a bit of a trying to like figure my shit out, and so I got the time. So I've been reading books. I've been like just really trying to like be in my own mind and just trying to figure shit out. And yeah, it's all it's just real. Just how I feel.
Yeah, man. Like, to go to your point, like, it's all about the journey and not about the destination type of thing. Like, everyone is chasing this one goal, as we say, perfection, or this, I'm going to be famous, or I'm going to be rich. Everyone has this exaggerated goal. And then when they reach the final days of their life, not to be dark, I'm just saying that when they reach that end, they realize that, you know what? I never got to that goal, but I've changed and grown so much chasing it that I look back and I can't regret a thing. You know what I mean? Like,
that's real.
You just look back, it's just like, you've gone through so much change. I think the worst fear and that everyone would have is staying the same person throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
No development, no change.
That's it.
And, you know, you just feel stagnant.
Absolutely. That would be the worst. Can you imagine that?
Yeah. Yeah, imagine not changing. Imagine not learning from things. Imagine people always like worried about like, oh, like I wish I had this. I wish I had no struggles. I wish I had no bad stuff going on in my life. But you won't be able to change without it. You won't be able to become a better person without it. You won't be, you know, as I said before in the podcast with Don, like if you touch a stove for the first time ever and then you realize it's hot, you're never going to touch it again. You know, imagine if you never never faced something that was bad to make you feel hurt, and then you just never learn from it, and then you just continually get hurt and hurt and hurt. That's not the way to live. Like we're trying to swim. We're trying to learn this. We're getting chucked in a deep ocean, and we're at the bottom of the ocean, and we're learning how to swim upwards, and eventually we'll reach the surface.
Oh, sorry. Just to let you guys know, now Raf's camera died, and he records his sound in his camera, so he's disappeared. So I'm gonna entertain you guys for a little bit while he fixes his shit. And once again, you're part of the journey. See, this is what this is, man. This is what this is. I want to apologize in advance for my hair. I'm trying to grow it out, but like, look at it. It's puffed up. I look like I'm straight out of the Ghostbusters. I don't know if I'm gonna go out like this, eh? It's alright. Alright. Okay, Raf's gonna record through his phone. This is makeshift as it gets, man. I was telling you guys, like, I was starting to brag to people, like, yeah, we're moving up, man. We're so pro now. I think a few more episodes and we'll get there. Maybe episode 40. But once again, message of this podcast. Mistakes are necessary. Struggle is necessary. You've got to go through the darkness. Raf, I'm running out of stuff to say. I can't. My phone's got the messages, and my phone's recording me. Should we just save it for next episode, and just maybe there'll be more reviews? Alright, so Raf suggested he was going to send me the reviews, because he can't get back online. But the issue is my phone is recording me, and that's how I check my messages. So we're going to do that next week. Hit us up with a review, and we'll have a lot more to shout out in the next episode 32. Peace. I'm the one signing out this time. Raf, see? I'm not the only one that F's up here. Raf did as well. Anyways, just wanted to make that point. Peace and love. We out. Boo, 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 boo.